If you're managing access in Azure, you already know the built-in roles don't always cut it. So today, we're going to master a critical skill, creating custom RBAC roles that give you the exact permissions you need. Nothing more and definitely nothing less. Let's dive in. So, let me just ask you, are your Azure permissions a perfect fit? I mean, really, Azure gives us a whole bunch of built-in roles, which is awesome. But let's be real, they don't always work for the super specific security needs of your company. You're often left with permissions that are way too broad or just kind of off. And this slide, it illustrates the problem perfectly. Think of it like this. Built-in roles are like standard-sized puzzle pieces. They get you close, but they can leave these awkward security gaps or frustrating overlaps. Custom roles, on the other hand, well, they're the piece you get to design yourself. They guarantee a perfect fit, locking down access with the principle of least privilege. Okay, so let's kick things off by looking at that classic scenario. That moment you realize a built-in role just isn't going to cut it. This is exactly why custom roles even exist. Now, you might be thinking that creating a custom role sounds super complicated, but I promise you it's not. It's actually a really straightforward 4-step plan. Let's walk through it together. Here it is, our roadmap to success. First, we figure out the exact permissions we need. Second, we pick our favorite tool to build it. Third, we actually create the role. And fourth, and this is the one you can absolutely never skip, we test it, and then test it again. All right, step 1, figuring out the permissions. Look, the biggest challenge here is that Azure has literally thousands of them. So where do you even start? The key is to start small. Your best bet is to either find a built-in role that's kind of close and just tweak it, or list out the specific Azure services you need to control. That's the fastest way to zero in on what you need. Step 2 is all about choosing your tool, and you've got options. The Azure portal is fantastic. It gives you a really friendly visual interface, which is the perfect place to start. But if you're all about automation, you can turn to PowerShell, the Azure CLI, or even the REST API. All of those use a JSON file to define the role, which we're going to look at in just a minute. And that brings us to steps 3 and 4. Create and test. You'll notice I'm grouping these, and that's because they absolutely go hand in hand. The moment you create that role, you have to start testing it. Make sure it does what you want it to do, and just as important, make sure it doesn't do what you don't want it to do. Seriously, do not skip the testing part. All right, let's get into the guts of it. Every single custom role is defined by a set of properties inside a JSON file. Understanding this structure, well, that's the key to building really effective roles. First up, we have actions and not actions. Now, these define what we call control plane operations. Think of this as managing the Azure resources themselves. Things like creating a virtual machine, changing a network setting, or deleting a storage account. Actions are what the role can do, and not actions are the specific things you want to explicitly forbid. Now, don't get that mixed up with DataActions and NotDataActions. These are all about the data plane. This isn't about managing the resource. It's about managing the data inside the resource. So for example, reading a file from a storage container or running a query against a database. It's a really critical distinction for getting your security just right. Okay, now this property, AssignableScopes, is your ultimate gatekeeper. This is what decides where in your Azure environment this custom role can even be used. This is what stops a role designed for a single resource group from being accidentally assigned at the whole subscription level, which would give it way more power than you ever intended. So now that we know how to build a role, let's talk about how to avoid the common mistakes. Think of this section as the insider knowledge that's going to save you from major security headaches down the road. First up, let's talk about the wildcard, that little asterisk character. It seems like a fantastic shortcut, doesn't it? Why list out dozens of permissions when one little star can grant them all? Well, that convenience comes with a pretty big security risk. And hey, you don't have to take my word for it. Microsoft's own documentation is crystal clear on this. The reason is simple. If Azure adds new permissions in the future that happen to match your wildcard, your role will automatically get them. This could grant access you never, ever intended, creating a huge security hole. Always, always be explicit. It's also really good to know the hard limits. You can create up to 5,000 custom roles per Microsoft Entra tenant. That's the directory holding all your users and groups. Now, 5,000 sounds like a lot, but in a massive organization, you need to be aware of that ceiling so you can manage your roles effectively. And here are a few more hard rules to just burn into your memory. You can't set AssignableScopes to the root. You can't use wildcards in AssignableScopes. You can only specify one management group per role. And finally, any role that has data actions can't be assigned at the management group level. Keep these in your back pocket when you're designing your roles. We've covered creating and managing roles. So let's wrap this up with the final piece of the puzzle: how to properly and safely delete a custom role when you don't need it anymore. So you've decided a custom role has got to go. Simple enough, right? Just click delete? Well, not so fast. If that role is currently assigned to anyone or anything, Azure will flat out stop you. There is a mandatory 3-step process you have to follow, no exceptions. First, you have to find every single assignment of that custom role. Second, you have to remove all of those assignments, and only then, once the role is completely out of use, can you finally move to step 3 and delete the role itself. And this slide shows you exactly why. Azure actually has a built-in safety net. If you try to delete a role that's still assigned somewhere, you will get this specific error: role definition has assignments. Seeing this code is your signal to go back to step 1 and find those assignments you missed. Okay, so let's lock in the key takeaways. 1. Use custom roles for surgical, least privilege access. 2. Always follow that 4-step plan. And please never skip the testing phase. 3. Avoid the wildcard like the plague. Be specific. And 4. Always remove all assignments before you even try to delete a role. And there you have it, your complete guide to mastering Azure custom RBAC roles. You now have the blueprint for building those perfect, secure, custom-fit permissions for your environment. So my question to you is, what's the very first process you're going to go lock down? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for joining this explainer.